Okay, it's experiment time again. This is what I do for you guys. I bought these on Amazon. This is silver leaf, and there are 100 sheets in here, so it was a big package. Unfortunately, it wasn't cheap, but I wanted to play, and I'm willing to do it for you. So this is thin silver leaf, and then this is copper leaf. And there are fewer sheets. There are only 25 sheets, I think, in here, so it cost me a little bit less, and these are bigger, interestingly. But I wanted to know if these would work well in fusing, what kind of reactions I could get with these. So I am going to cut up a bunch of scrap glass, and this is really just for play. I'm going to pick some stuff that I think is going to be copper reactive and silver reactive. I'm going to use some French vanillas. I'm going to fire it between some clear just to see what happens with plain clear. I might even have some reactive ice around here that I could use. So I'm going to make some decisions on these and then create some samples that I'll fire in the kiln, and we'll show you what they turn out to look like. But pretty excited about these. If these turn out well, then I'll add them to my Amazon store so that you can find them as well. If they don't turn out well, then you'll know not to buy them. So stay tuned. All right, so I want to test this appropriately. So I've got my reactions chart out from my Bullseye catalog, and there are lead bearing glasses, copper bearing glasses, and sulfur bearing glasses. And I don't expect that the copper leaf is going to react with copper, but I wanted to kind of do a true test here and just play a little bit. So I have lead bearing glass under here. It's a striker. It's the light coral. 12105 is the bottom layer, and then I've just cut some Tecta to put on top. They both look clear, so make sure you know which was which. But in the end, it wouldn't really matter anyway, as long as I had one piece of coral on each side. But I know, so it doesn't matter. I'll stop rambling. So that's that. Here I've got a copper bearing glass, and I'm not sure which one. I didn't have my scrap marked, shame on me, and I can't really discern. I think it's either turquoise blue or maybe emerald green. In any event, it's on this list, whichever one it is. So whether it's turquoise or whether, shoot, it could even be aquamarine, but it's on this list, and so I should get a reaction. Not copper to copper, and actually I may not get a reaction with the silver either, but I just wanted to test what would happen on a copper bearing glass, so that in the future when I use it, I know. This is just straight clear, Tecta and Tecta, so that's that. And then this is French vanilla with a Tecta cap as well. So what I'm gonna do now is, and these are all just out of my scrap bin. I don't want to, use too much expensive glass on this. Now I'm going to open these up. I'm going to take the copper leaf, and I'm going to tear off a strip and put it in one of each of these colors, and then I'll do the same with my silver, one in each of these, and then we'll fire it to a full fuse, and we'll just see what happens. I'm really curious and can't wait to find out, and then I'll know in the future how I should use these moving forward. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those up and do that now. All right, here we are. So the bottom line is save your money on the silver, I think. So I took one for the team here and probably learned some stuff through it. So, and that silver, unfortunately, was the one that was the most expensive for me. So what you can see here, the copper actually does look pretty cool on several of these pieces. So the copper bubbles, you get the, I don't know if that's oxidation that happens, but the copper kind of bubbles up. And so here it is on the clear, and you can see that really cool blue, you can see the bubble effect. And so if that's something you're, can you see that? If that's something you're going for, that copper is a really cool, it burns out, if you will, but you leave a shape with the bubbles. So I think I can play with that. I think I can have some fun with that. But the silver, this is it on the Tecta. I need to clean these up because they're getting the papyrus stuck on the back here. But for the most part, that's almost fully burned out and gone. You really can't see anything there. And then this was the silver on the aquamarine, and same thing there. You probably can't tell. I can tell a little bit of ghosting in there of an image, but just barely. It, for the most part, just burned completely out. I took these to 1470 in my kiln, and I held for I think 30 minutes. I had something else in there that I needed to go a little bit longer, so you know, this is at that temperature. If I want to play with the silver maybe at lower temperatures, we could see what would happen there. This is the light coral. Is that what the color was? Interesting. Look what the silver did there. This is the silver on there, and can you see that? Yeah, you can kind of see how it did almost create a reaction in there, and you know, either kept the glass from fully developing its color, or maybe that's a reaction, but that's kind of cool. So I suppose that, you know, knowing this, you could go after something like this as a effect with that kind of glass. And then here's the copper, and so in this case it just basically did like this, like the clear did. It turned to that blue and bubbled a little bit. Now some of these bubbles came to the surface in kind of a bigger way. And then back to the aquamarine, or whatever color I was doing there. This is the copper pieces in here. It's almost the same color as the glass itself, but you can definitely see where they are, and then you can see those bubbles that were created there. So fairly consistent across that. And then on the French vanilla, you do get a reaction with both, and this is where you clearly see the silver most. So this is the copper and this is the silver. And I know this because I took pictures before I put them in the kiln. But the other telltale sign, I'm just going to pick this up, is that the copper again gassed off and created a lot of bubbles, whereas the silver did not. So you get that really dark brown reaction with the French vanilla. With the silver, it's a different muted color. So there too, that silver is not going to fully go to waste. I can use it on something like French vanilla and go for, you know, a specific look. It's almost kind of a bluish gray hue to it, which is really pretty. And then you can see the clear outline, and really no bubbles with the silver, or very, very minimal. So there you go. There are the results of those. The copper I think is pretty cool, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in the Amazon store. I'm not going to put the silver in there, but honestly, if you could click on the copper one, I think you can just do a drop down and pick the silver instead. If you're interested in trying the silver, you might see me use these in future videos, or maybe even do some other tests, but this is it for now. What I've learned is I spent a lot of money on the silver, wouldn't necessarily recommend that. The copper is pretty cool, and I think I can use that in the future. Catch you later. Bye-bye.